up, guys?
Hey, we didn't decide who's gonna do the intro.
I was waiting for you guys. I wanted you guys to just like be silent when we came back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Mafia. It is JoJo. We got B&B over here. Actually,
shit.
Yosef and Brian. They're actually at the same place. They didn't invite me. That's how little they think of me, guys.
Well, we were afraid you're gonna eat all the cake. That's why. So
that's very true, and that's actually very fair. So I don't fault you for that. But how dare you? I hope you save me a slice. The next thing we're going to, or actually for today's episode, what we're going to do is go through the draft grades on each conference, but we're going to break this up. We're going to start with the NFC. We'll go through team by team, give them a little rank, what you guys liked, disliked, give them a grade. We'll kind of give a consensus amongst us three, and we'll wrap things up, and we'll move to the next conference in the next video. So without further ado, who wants to kick it off? Well, which conference, which division you guys want to start with?
Well, we got two AFC guys, so let's go to the AFC.
Oh, we're gonna do AFC first.
Let's go AFC.
All right, AFC it is. We'll start with the AFC North, and we'll start with the Baltimore Ravens. I really like their draft, personally.
Wait. Can one of you guys actually pull up a sheet where it shows all the picks?
Yeah.
Obviously, he has it already.
I have it in front of you. I mean, I'll kind of go through some of the names. I mean, I don't think we're going to go through like every single one, but Kyle Hamilton was their first pick. Pick number 14, Tyler Linderbaum, late first round out of Iowa. David Ajabo, edge rusher out of Michigan. Then we got Travis Jones, Daniel Failale. Moving down to the fourth round, Charlie Kolar, Isaiah Likely, also in the fourth round. They had 6 fourth-round picks, guys. Six fourth-round picks. Unbelievable. And also Tyler Batty to round out their draft in round 6. So the Baltimore Ravens, they are probably one of the best teams, or better teams, I should say, when it comes to the draft. What do you guys think? And what do you guys think of the draft? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I had to give them a grade, I'll give them an A. I mean, they filled the need that they lost their center, Bozeman, went to the Panthers. So they filled a huge need with the best center in the draft. They got one of the best defenders in the draft, Hamilton. Then they get Travis Jones as a nose tackle, which is a perfect piece for the Ravens. They love those big nose tackles like in Finland. So they had an amazing draft. They filled their needs. So I give them an A. I don't think there's anything else they could have done. I think they had the perfect draft that they wanted. They got who they wanted.
What about you, Brian?
I give him like A+.
A+.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton, coming into the draft like last year, he was actually projected to be like a top 3 pick. So he was like really high coming into the season. Tyler Lindenbaum, I actually heard PFF gave him like the highest graded center ever, like ever.
Ever. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So they pretty much hit on everything, in my opinion. Giving away Brown for a first round pick, I don't think
that led to Linderbaum actually. That would led to
Linderbaum. But yeah, I think the style of offense they had is more like running. I don't really think they need like the best wide receivers, so I think they definitely got like a good value for him. But yeah, they had a great draft.
The one thing I would say I'll give them a slight knock is just that the amount of tight ends now that they have. They still have Nick Boyle, they have Mark Andrews, and they pick up 2 more tight ends. And it kind of seems like without Marquise Brown or Hollywood Brown, that they're going to be back to going run heavy. Because last year, contrary to popular belief that they're a run team, right? But their pass run rate was actually higher, leading towards the pass, partly due to a lot of the injuries that they had last year, right? So I think they're going to go right back. I think the one person that benefits from all this, including the Marquise Brown trade and all the picks that they kind of committed to the run game again, is J.K. Dobbins. So I want to at least emphasize that. I give them a B+, A- in that range for that, just because I think it's somewhat limiting to the offense, but it still is on brand. But I still think they killed it or knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. So one of great grades. All right, so let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's go to the only a few picks here. Daxton Hill, Michigan defensive back, probably going to play the slot. They have him classified as a safety, but he could be a slot corner. They went Cam Taylor-Britt, Zachary Cardle, Cordell Volson, Tyson Anderson out of Toledo, and Coastal Carolina Jeffrey Gunter. I think this is probably like almost a D to me because they don't really add much O-line help, in my opinion. And I thought that I know they addressed a lot of that in free agency, but I still feel like they could have had some depth. The only O-lineman that they picked up was Cordell Volson out of North Dakota State. I just think the supplement to Joe Burrow's protection I think was needed here in this draft at least.
Yeah, I feel like they had an okay draft. I like Daxton Hill; is very versatile. They needed a corner, obviously, so that was a good pick. But other than that, they didn't really fill the needs on the offensive line, like you said. So I'd have to give them a C plus, average draft.
I give them a B minus. I mean, they really helped our offensive line a lot through free agency. So I mean, I don't think they had to go through the draft. They needed help in the secondary, and I feel like they did that with Daxton Hill. So yeah, B minus.
Okay.
Daxton Hill is a really good player.
No problem there. Let's just keep moving to Cleveland Browns. Obviously, they made I think you got to factor Cleveland Browns draft with Deshaun Watson, obviously, because obviously that was the big acquisition they got in the offseason. But the first 3 picks, all in the 3rd round, were Martin Emerson, Alex Wright out of UAB. But I think the best pick out of that 3rd round was David Bell, Purdue wide receiver. I think he can fit the mold for Jarvis Landry leaving, although I guess I don't even know if Landry's been signed yet, so there's a chance that he could possibly even come back. They picked a kicker in the 4th round, Cade York out of LSU, Jerome Ford, Cincinnati, formerly from Alabama. And I'd say Isaiah Thomas, the DN of Oklahoma, was probably a late round good value there. They had a few others that I just don't see as too many difference makers there. But what do you guys think of Cleveland Browns? I think David Bell and Jerome Ford being kind of the main pickups here in the draft for them.
Yeah, I think that me personally, they get like a D plus. There's just nothing special.
Yeah, when you don't have a first or second rounder, it's kind of hard to grade. But I felt like with what they had, they got a pretty decent wide receiver for value in the 3rd round, and then some okay defensive players later on.
Yeah, Perrion Winfrey and Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, both out of Oklahoma.
Winfrey's really good.
Yeah, Perrion
Winfrey I like. That was like a really good value pick.
Yeah, so for what they had, I can give them like a C plus as well. I mean, they did okay for what they had.
They actually loved Oklahoma. There's an Oklahoma pipeline. Perrion Winfrey, Isaiah Thomas, and Michael Woods, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, went to Cleveland. I agree with you on Winfrey. Definitely worthy of a 4th round stab. The Jerome Ford pickup, they got Kareem Hunt, they got Nick Chubb, and they got Dearness Johnson, who filled in well amicably. Oh my God, I can't even say amicably when Chubb went down and Kareem Hunt was also out. So he started a primetime game and went off. So I don't know what the Jerome Ford pickup really does, except they did give Deshaun Watson a hefty contract. I think it was $250 million guaranteed. I think it might be backloaded to some degree because he is having he's going to have a suspension beginning of the year. So it'd be kind of crazy to give him that kind of money for him to sit out at least 6 games to start the year. But that being said, why I bring that up was there is potential and a rumor out there in Cleveland beat writer land but one of those running backs, bigger names, not Dearness, I'm thinking probably Kareem Hunt could get dropped. As far as just a cut, like a straight up cut, unless they can trade him. But that's one of the hunches I've been reading.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got too many guys that rape women, beat women. I feel like every NFL team can only have no more than one. So, yeah, I mean, I think the same.
Yeah, I think one's enough, huh?
Yeah, one's enough.
All
right, I'm trying to find the Pittsburgh because this is in alphabetical order here. So hold on, we're going to go right to Pittsburgh. But you guys can already know at the top of the draft they picked the local boy out of Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, and then they went to Georgia wide receiver George Pickens in the 2nd round. DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M was an interesting pick. A lot of people are really high on Calvin Austin out of Memphis. They took Cam Hayward's younger brother, Connor Hayward, out of Michigan State, playing that H-back fullback. And then a late round selection, Chris Oladokun out of South Dakota State. A lot of people liked him as a small school prospect project that could be a lifetime backup, but we'll see. What do you guys think of the Pittsburgh draft?
Yeah, I think Cody Pickett was a surprise in the first round. I mean, we all thought they were going to get. Well, now Brian actually he picked. You're muted.
No, I'm asking Darian something. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Brian actually picked the Pickett pick right, but
Didn't I?
most logical people thought Matt Willis would be the pick there. But they went with Pickett, less mobile, but he can develop into something. They obviously know him very well. They were right there. So that could – we have to see what happens with that. But with Pickens, they got a receiver that could, come in and play. But he's had attitude problems on the field. We've seen him get into fights here and there. And for some reason, Tomlin likes to pick these kind of high-attitude receivers. We'll see how that works. But overall, Steelers usually pretty good at drafting. I can give them a B minus.
I don't know, man. So Pittsburgh, they usually telegraph their picks. This year, they kind of obviously kept it away from us as far as the pick. I guess Brian knew it, or just a flat out guess, one or the two.
Probably just a guess.
It has to be a guess.
I have sources. I have sources.
I'd say a middling grade here overall. I think the Calvin Austin pickup, I think he could be even better than George Pickens. Obviously, talent-wise, you probably have to lean towards the Georgia kid, but a lot of people are high on Calvin Austin, just that splash player. Connor Hayward, just kind of a do-everything. He'll make the team just because of his effort. I'd say somewhere like a C. C is, average, a middling grade here. Nothing to really write home about. Yeah, right. We're going to go right to the AFC South, and that is going to be – I'm going to start with the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, they made a big trade. A.J. Brown, you guys might have heard of him. He was disgruntled. A lot of the receivers this year, it's kind of a commonplace now, especially this year with Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams switching teams, and now A.J. Brown. Go into Philadelphia. They take the most, I guess, replica, if you will, to A.J. Brown, just like physical stature-wise, and Treylon Burks. They went Ohio State's O-lineman Nicholas Petit-Frere. Then they went to Malik Willis as the potential heir apparent to Ryan Tannehill. Hassan Haskins was an interesting pickup for them in the fourth. Chig Okonkwo, the tight end from Maryland. Kyle Phillips, who I really liked as a late-round stab in round 5. And then Theo Jackson, Chance Campbell to round out their draft. What do you guys think of them? I think they kind of hit – I'd say a solid B here, but you do have to factor the A.J. Brown trade. So I don't think they got any better, but I still feel like they filled the needs they needed to throughout the draft. And I think they got some serviceable players, like I said, a Kyle Phillips late round to play some snaps this year.
Me personally, I give them an F. They got rid of their second best player. They got Burks, who I think is a complete bust. They drafted Malik Willis, who I think is going to be a complete bust. I think they just had a horrible draft. They didn't make their team better. They got rid of one of their best players. They draft a horrible quarterback. I don't know what people see Malik Willis. I think he's like so overrated. If you look at the guy's stats, it's like 12 for 37. Like 2 interceptions in games, and you draft
the guy. He's basically going to be on the bench for a while. I mean, it's Ryan Tannehill didn't do that bad. Like he's probably going to play a whole year next year, probably 2 years, depending on his performance. And then Burks is obviously not A.J. Brown, and even if he is good the first year, it's going to take a while before he even gets to A.J. Brown status, a couple years. So. And then trading A.J. Brown away, and then basically you're starting over with a receiving core. Robert Woods is coming off an ACL, so I don't think they improved their team at all. They got a nice value in a quarterback in the 3rd round, but when is he actually going to play? So I'll give him I'm not going to be as harsh as Brian. I'll give him a C minus.
I mean, you guys also got to think of who's in their division too, because I mean, I still don't think they could potential to win this division even with. Obviously, Indianapolis still being probably the favorite to come out of that division. And I'd say that the betting odds in this division particularly, still have them second. They're really close to the Indianapolis Colts right now, plus 100 for the Colts, plus 150 for the Titans. So I don't think they downgraded that much. Obviously, the firepower and the explosiveness is definitely something to be, desired without AJ Brown. But obviously, no one knows what these kids are going to do yet. We don't know exactly how the team's going to look until they hit the field. So you very well could be correct, but I don't see them dropping below Jacksonville or Houston in this division, even with the AJ Brown departure. So I think F is a little too aggressive there, but hey, it's your opinion. Let's keep it moving. We'll go right to Indianapolis when I can locate their picks here. Let's see. There we go. Yes. Starting off with Alec Pierce in the second. They also did not have a first-round pick. Jelani Woods out of Virginia, the tight end. I'd say the other they also picked up another late tight end out of Youngstown State, Andrew Ogletree, just a big body. I don't really have too many home run hitters out of this draft either, but technically they hit the needs, I guess. Which as far as their positional needs, they needed line help as far as depth on the tackle position. They can use an extra safety, so they picked up Nick Cross. I'd say C plus at best.
Yeah, I mean, very average. The Colts are pretty well built all around, so they don't really need too much. They did need receiver. I don't even think, did they draft a receiver?
Yeah, Alec Pierce, first pick. Yeah, out of Cincinnati. He can fly. He can flat out fly. So it was like a good compliment to what they have in a possession wide receiver and Michael Pittman. Obviously, their run game, their interior line is stout. I like that's why I think they picked up some O-line help on the outside, on the tackle position for depth. They never draft quarterbacks. I mean, except for Andrew Luck, how many years ago? They just keep trying to recycle these veteran quarterbacks, as you can see the last couple of years. So Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz to now Matt Ryan. So veteran leadership at the helm, just to keep this team at the top of position and go for a playoff run.
Yeah, and they got their big tight ends that they love to get. I mean, nothing that comes out at you. I'll give them a C.
The tight end actually that they drafted actually had the best athletic score in the history of any tight end coming into the league. Perfect 10 out of 10 from what I heard. When it comes to height, weight, speed, all the agility tests, bench press, actually the highest score. Perfect.
We'll get to that too, because I know you guys are, especially Brian. I mean, Joseph was very high on one particular wide receiver that's fast, tall, and everything too. But I have some news to share on that regard as far as the scouting profile on that. Yes, Jelani Woods blew it out of the park. There's a lot of people that come out of that. I think also the Panthers drafted what is his name? Bruce Davis back in the day, a tackle that just was a massive man who was a workout warrior and then busted too. You got to be careful these workout
Bruce
warriors,
Davis?
man.
I thought it was something. Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell. That's what it was. Just
out of Maryland.
Jeff Otah.
Athletic people. I mean, go look, man. It's just that's just grading out. I want to see what he does on the field. I still prefer Mo Alley Cox in that one. He's the incumbent returning veteran out of that tight end room, but we'll see. They have like 4 tight ends. It's kind of like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next one.
All right, let's go Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 1 overall pick. Brian, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. You and I were definitely hit the nail on the head with Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. They picked another linebacker, Chad Muma out of Wyoming. I want to see after that. It was, I think after the first 2 picks, it was kind of after that. I think this is probably the worst draft, I would say, out of the entire NFL outside of just the number 1 pick. And even because the number 1 pick, he wasn't a popular number 1 pick. Like, they could have completely missed on every single thing they did in this draft. F.
I like Chad Muma and I like Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, they had a.
Yeah, but Trayvon Walker, I would have took Hutchinson if it was me, but Trayvon Walker has upside, so they could hit. But I get what you're saying; like it could be a total miss as well.
It could be a total miss. That's all I'm saying.
If I was the Jaguars, I would have went for safe. But I like the Devin Lloyd pick and the Chad Muma. I think is actually gonna be. He was on the. I mentioned him on the Combine episode. I think he's going to be pretty good.
I just think I think part of my reason why I don't like the draft too for this particular team is because Trent Baalke, the GM, has done nothing to gain another opportunity in the NFL to like oversee another team what he's done in his past. So, yeah, I mean that's part of my reason. Sorry, but go ahead, Brian.
I think they had a pretty good draft. Yeah, the first overall pick, maybe they could have got a much better player potentially, but Lloyd, I think, is a great linebacker. Muma, I think is a
But was
great
linebacker a huge
linebacker.
need? They still have Miles Jack. They have
No,
some
he's
other
gone.
speed
Miles
guys
Jack
too.
is on Steelers.
He's on the Steelers now.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Does that
guess
change
that's
your
why they
draft
picked up
grade?
3
This is your
linebackers.
draft grade?
Huh?
But no, they filled like some needs in the linebacking core. I think those two guys are really, really good. And they definitely built the defense up. So I think I give them a B.
Wow. Okay. To agree to disagree at the end on that one. Let's keep it moving to what we have. Who was left in that division? I'm sorry, I'm missing one. We did Texans right here. Okay, Texans. Derek Stingley, a kind of a shocker there, in my opinion, because I after his freshman season at LSU, the confidence, the technique, the time, how many times that he's been beat over the top. I don't know if he's going to turn into being a dominant corner. I think they really needed O-line help. And still building around a. I don't even know if Davis Mills is the answer, but we'll see. They're obviously going to give him the keys another year. I really do like Damian Pierce, their 4th-round pick. I think he has a chance to start right away. John Mechie tore his ACL a month prior to Jamison Williams, so he should be back a little bit quicker. I want to say Kenyon Green was a solid guard pickup too. Jalen Petre out of Baylor, strong hitter. I'd say a C+ for me.
Yeah, I think they could have gone like Thibodeau with the 3rd pick and then got a corner at their 13th pick instead of trading. They could have got McCullum or was McDuffie or one of those other corners at 13, or maybe even Stingley would have lasted. I don't know, but they could have definitely. I think trading to the 15th pick and then getting a guard. And Green would have been available way later. I think that was a reach. I think they filled the needs. They were just reaching on a lot of their picks because I know they had a lot of picks. So
yeah, they gave up 3 picks to get the John Mechie pick. They gave up 68, 108, and 124 to make the Mechie pick, and then traded up again for an off-ball linebacker. Who was it? Oh, Christian Harris out of Alabama.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense how their strategy went. I mean, they did fill some needs and they got some good players, but where they got them, I didn't really like that. So I'll just for that, I can give them like a C+.
Yeah, I'll give them a C-. It's some of the players that they got. It's like they're okay, but it's like could have gotten some better players.
Yeah, their strategy was just off.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of see after the draft, you kind of understand why certain teams always suck and why certain teams are always good. This is a team. This is why they always suck. Drafts like this.
I think that's well said, and we can wrap it up and keep it moving to the last couple divisions here. Buffalo Bills, Kyer Elam, who I got right. I want to throw that out there. Kyer Elam to Buffalo. James Cook, they've been looking for, especially with the J.D. McKissick debacle, where he was going to Buffalo and then want to go back to Washington. They got their playmaker at the running back position, that pass catcher. Khalil Shakir out of Boise State was a very interesting pick. The leg himself, Matt Ariza out of San Diego State. I think he just averages 60 yards every punt. The guy has a huge leg and the most punts in FBS inside the 20. Let's see. Those are the main 4 picks. They have a couple other ones that I'm not too familiar with, in all honesty. But GM Brandon Beane, I think he did okay job. I'd say anywhere from between like around a B-. B- sounds good to me, just because I like the upside of James Cook and potentially Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, I think sorry, I'll go first. I think they had a pretty good draft about filling their needs. Like they got the passing running back they really wanted. And James Cook was probably one of the best in the draft as far as the pass catching back. And then they got a really good corner late in the 1st round. So they filled 2 big needs. And then the best special teamer, and they really needed a punter. So just based on team needs, they really filled them very well at their position. They didn't have to trade too much to even get those picks. So I have to give them I'll give them a B+.
It's fair.
I mean, I'll go C. I mean, to me, their best pick was the punter. Who I really
what
liked.
are you talking about? Are you
I
kidding
really
me?
like the punter.
I mean, no, I was wrong. I said something about the leg. It's actually his nickname is the Punt God.
Yeah,
the punt guy.
He's that good.
Matt Ariza.
The guy also tackles too.
that too. That too.
Yeah,
But,
and he can kick
you
field
don't
goals.
you don't think anything of Khalil Shakir or James Cook?
Or Elam, man. You got Elam. Maybe
Shakir's
Tyler
okay. I mean, Elam. Yeah, I mean, we'll
You
see what
said you
happens
liked
with
the pick when we did our mock draft together, man. What are you talking about? Now you jump ship?
No, but I
Get the
think
hell
if
outta here.
like if your best
Mute
pick is a
yourself.
punter, you don't have the best draft. The best pick, in my opinion, was a punter.
I mean, they got him in the 6th round. It's not like they reached.
Yeah, I know, but
So I disagree with you. I think you're being way too hard on that. But
it's just because in the Dolphins division. That's biased.
Khalil Shakir caught 200 balls and then ran a low 4.4 in Indy. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it is testing, but he also the production's there. So we'll see what happens there. Let's find his middle of the ground Miami Dolphins. Where are they at here? Okay, the 4 picks that they took.
F.
You got to factor in Tyreek Hill acquisition in this. You have to, unfortunately, because without that, you guys would have an F. In all honesty, but I give you guys a C for just because I factor in the Tyreek Hill acquisition.
I mean, they really needed linebackers, and I think they drafted
They got 2 of them. Yeah, they got 2 of them.
I never heard of
Skylar
those
Thompson.
guys.
Like, what is he gonna do? Like, that was just a weird throw in. Like, you wanted him to be just like a backup to Tua. I mean, if anything goes wrong there, I mean, I don't know.
And they got like a random receiver.
Stick with a vet.
Yeah, so I don't know what the Dolphins are thinking. I think they're high in something.
Greg Little sucks. Greg Mance, whatever. I think your best lineman is Liam Eichenberg, in all honesty. But
yeah, terrible draft. They gave up all their picks for Hill, and they just picked some whatever players to fill in some needs.
We get to hear another year of Brian complaining about how bad his own line is. That's just what happens.
And not drafting no linemen.
Well, if we count the undrafted free agents, we actually picked up a left
undrafted
from Arizona State.
Okay, you're gonna bank on undrafted free agents.
Round.
Good luck.
Yeah, I think we were like a B-. I really like the Tyndall pick, athletic linebacker. All the other picks I didn't really get, but I give him like a solid B-.
Let's move right to New England. Let's move right to New England. The Bill Belichickers with the strange pick at number in the 1st round. Out of Chattanooga, Cole Strange, Tyquan Thornton. They were in very, very need of speed, and they got one who runs a sub 4.3 or around a 4.3. A very popular running back prospect at Pierre Strong out of South Dakota State. Bailey Zappi, 4th round. I think that was a little high for him. In all honesty, I don't know much about Bailey Zappi, but I watched the combine. Wasn't too impressed. Obviously, he's not starting by any means. They have Mac Jones, but I'm just Jack Jones out of Arizona State, the DB. I like him a little bit. Fits the scheme. But again, I think the whole draft was just strange from the beginning with their strange pick, and I think this is also one of the worst drafts ever for Bill Belichick. In all honesty,
I have no idea what he was thinking. He reached. Well, the first 3 picks were extreme reaches. He could have got Strange in like the 3rd round. He could have got Thornton in the 3rd or 4th round. And to think that he traded up to get Thornton, it was just mind-boggling. I don't know what he was thinking. I think Jones was a good pick. But besides that, it was just all over the place. Zappi in the 4th round was another reach. So I think this one was the worst draft.
It's up there. I mean, it's down there. I should say it's down
for
there.
Me, it's probably the worst. Yeah. I'll give it a F+.
Yeah, they're the worst. I don't know how you said Jaguars had the worst draft, and like this is a better draft than Jaguars.
I mean, they're both. I gave them both a D. So I mean, you're splitting hairs here.
No, I give Patriots an F. I just totally overreached for players. I don't know why they drafted another quarterback. Like I don't know what their goal is with that. He wasn't even the best quarterback on the board. But yeah, I'll give him an F.
Hey man, they hit once with a late round QB. I think that's just like the strategy they do now is try to go for day 3 QBs and see if they hit once again. But yeah, I mean I think their best pick was Pierre Strong, and that's saying that's all you have to hear about that when they have a stable of running backs and you can't commit to any of them in fantasy either. So interesting there. I think the final team in that division I haven't touched on was the New York Jets, right? And I think we're all on the same page here. I think they had one of the best drafts, if not the best draft. Their first 4 picks, or I think were slam dunks just because they hit all the needs that they needed. Cornerback, wide receiver, edge rusher were all needs. They get them all in the first round. They trade back in Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, then Brees Hall to complement Michael Carter. I think they're going to work well together. And Jeremy Ruckert was a little interesting. He's a Buckeye. I like him. He's very, very hard nosed in the run game. He can catch as well, get open, find the seams, and find the soft spots in zone. Rounding out Max Mitchell as a tackle out of Louisiana, Michael Clemens. I'd say an A-, if not an A. I think this is one of the best drafts of rivaling up there with the Ravens as far as value and what they got. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I'll give him an A+. I think as far as when you get 4 guys who are arguably the best in their position in the draft, all in the same draft, you have to give them an A or an A+ because they hit on everything. And if those guys all contribute and actually play up to their potential, they can really hit in this draft. And they got a lot of picks later on as well, not just those 4 guys. So I give them an A+. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think they got an A+. They exactly what you also said. They might have gotten the best player at each position with the first 4 picks. So yeah, A+.
What do you guys think of Brees Hall though? Just real quick, what do you think of the prospect?
I think he's going to be really good for fantasy.
Okay.
Speaking of fantasy, I think I'm not really concerned with who they draft last year.
Michael Carter.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do much to affect Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is going to come in and be at least a 2-down back in the beginning, and they're going to try to give him the ball. And he's very talented, and he can catch the ball as well. So I'm excited.
And Zach Wilson, real quick, rapid fire, yay or nay? Is he the real deal? Do you think he actually gets off the ground a little bit with the weapons they have now with the 2 running backs? They invested a lot in the tight end position. They picked up 2 in free agency. They drafted another one. They have depth there now. And then they have 3 weapons: Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, and of course, Elijah Moore. What do you guys think of Zach Wilson?
No.
No? Okay, perfect.
I think he'll do better this year.
We'll see. Okay, the final and best division. We saved the best division for last in the AFC. We have the gauntlet here. When it comes to the NFL, we'll start with the Los Angeles Chargers. They had a first-round pick, middle of the first round, Zion Johnson out of Boston College. I think that was a slam dunk there for them, what they needed. JT Woods, I just feel like he fits the scheme and what oh my God, I can't even think of the coach right now. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Chargers head coach?
Yeah, oh my goodness. How do I forget his name?
No, he's a white guy.
He's white. He looks like he's in his 30s.
He's 30s.
Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, he fits the cover 4, like the match scheme that they like to play. Isaiah Spiller, they've been running out so many different backups to Eckler, and Austin Eckler has been very vocal about wanting to split time. Obviously, he's also missed quite a few games, at least a handful of games almost every year. So Isaiah Spiller can mean a lot to fantasy as well. They hit a lot of other needs with Otito Ogbonnia out of UCLA. Ole Miss, another depth at corner, Deanne Leonard. I'd say this is a solid B+. Obviously, you're also factoring the Khalil Mack acquisition, things like that. So great. I think a solid draft all around.
Yeah, I personally think they had a great draft too. I give them B+.
Yeah, they're another one of those teams who have like an all around pretty good team. They don't have much needs. So to get Zion Johnson, which is something
that was their biggest need for sure. Yeah,
their biggest need in the first round, probably the second, or maybe some were saying the best guard in the draft. So that will really help the run game and all that. So just from a need wise, you can give him a B.
Yeah, Tom Telesco is an underrated GM. I'll say that much. Kansas City Chiefs. I like this draft just because of the upside with so many of the players that they actually got. Trent McDuffie, one of the hard-nosed corners in this draft. I believe you also liked him a lot too, Brian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie. And then George Karlaftis. I want to see what he's got left in him. I know he was, besides Aiden Hutchinson in the Big Ten, he was the next best rusher in the Big Ten Conference. Sky Moore, sky's the limit. I want to say a couple other ones. Isaiah Pacheco, late 7th round of Rutgers. I guess some more depth there at the running back position because it's kind of we don't know what CEH is really going to, the longevity of his contract and his time in Kansas City. Rojo could be taking over that job by week 5, if not sooner. So a little depth there, but yeah, I'd say the departure of Tyreek Hill obviously changes a lot of things, but I wanted to bring this point up. There's so many people out there, on analysts to Twitter sphere, saying that Pat Mahomes struggled last year. You can't read defenses. Now defense is obviously going to have to change, or Andy Reid's going to be changing the whole offense up just because Tyreek Hill is no longer a factor. I think there's going to be a different approach to the game to game. I think that defense, the blueprint's going to be changing. I don't think you can just sit back and play cover 2 against them anymore. What do you guys think of that, though? Just because the different type of skill set now that they have, that speed. I know they have Marcole Hardman, but he's no Tyreek Hill. What do you guys think of that take as for the Chiefs offense entering 2022?
They definitely added a lot more variety of weapons now, other than just Hill and Kelsey. Now they got Schuster, Sky Moore, Sammy Watkins. It's not really saying much, but Sammy Watkins, some other guys.
Sammy Watkins is on the team, is he? I don't think he is.
Yeah.
No,
he's not on the team anymore. I think
Watkins
he's
is on Packers.
Oh no, sorry,
MVS.
Packers. Yeah,
MVS.
Yeah, that's right. NVS. That's what I wanted to mention. NVS. So they have a variety now. So it'll be. I can't really judge yet. I'm not too sure. I know teams were keying in, and they had a certain package. I think it was cover 2 that were making Mahomes kind of think twice. And Hill had his up and down games as usual. So it's see if we can see if Sky Moore steps into that role. I don't think he will just yet. But if I had to give a grade for this particular draft, I think they hit on McDuffie for sure. And I think put it in the Kalafakis was a good steal late in the first round. I think he's going to be a very good player. He might be the best end in this draft. I'm going to say it right now. He's going to be
wow.
He might win defensive rookie of the year. Said it right now. He might win defensive rookie of the year.
There's definitely opportunity. There's a lot of passing teams in the division for sure. I mean, I think their biggest need was defensive backs, and they obviously went for the first pick. Brian Cook out of Cincinnati was a good pickup. Jalen Watson out of Washington State and Fayetteville State, Josh Williams. I don't know much about Fayetteville State, but as far as Washington State, they took 4 DBs, or 5 DBs. I'm sorry. They even took a 7th rounder, Nazeed Johnson. So they definitely went after their biggest area of weakness and crushed those. They took a couple playmakers. I think they're still going to be amongst the top of the division. I don't think they're going to win it though. Obviously, I'm biased on that, but we'll see what happens there.
I just think the kid out of Purdue defensive end's gonna be a bust personally, but
okay.
I think they had an okay draft with McDuffie, and plus Sky Moore. But other than that, I don't think it was anything crazy.
And we'll go to my team. We'll go to the Las Vegas Raiders.
This is ended.
There's 2 more. I didn't save us for last, so don't trip. We have one more team to go through. We'll wrap this up.
Well, usually you save the best for last, so I get why you put the Raiders last. You put the best last. Oh, he was so into it. He froze.
No way. Am I back?
Yeah. There you go. Now you're back.
I'm back. Okay. We took 2 running backs, which is very interesting. We obviously didn't pick up.
It's not interesting because Josh Jacobs sucks. They declined his 5th-year option.
Yeah, except that you lost the bet that you still haven't redeemed yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Hey, what are those jelly beans?
That good.
You can't talk because you lost a bet to Josh Jacobs. So you can't talk.
I should have brought the jelly beans today.
Yeah, you should have brought the jelly beans.
Feed you some jelly beans.
You should have brought the damn snickle to him too, the Snickers and a pickle, so he can eat it. Darian, by the way, what do you think of eating a Snickers and a pickle?
Yeah, what do you think?
That's gross.
That's why he's got to eat it as the bet.
Did your wife eat that because she was pregnant? Are those like pregnant cravings?
What, pickles?
Sounds like a pregnant craving, yeah.
Anyway, get back on track here. But yeah, we obviously did pick up all 3 of the first round picks in 2018. Jonathan Abram, Cleveland Farrell, and Josh Jacobs not getting their 5th options picked up. So we had to attack some of those things. What happened?
Terrible drafting.
Yeah. I think the best pick was our first pick, Dylan Parham, Memphis. A lot of offensive line truthers out there really enjoyed his versatility, his strength in the run game. Gets the second level well, uses his hands, good, a lot of strong lower body. But Thayer Munford, also out of Ohio State, late to the as a tackle guard prospect. Zamir White out of Georgia, the national champions. He carried the load most of the way. He was the early down bruiser. James Cook was the pass catching prospect there. But C minus.
Yeah, I think pretty much on point. I think Parham was the best pick. Everyone else kind of like blah. I think they needed help on defense, but they didn't really address too much.
Well, they definitely got to their scheme in free agency. They picked up corners and they also picked up some defensive ends that are kind of tackles, but they're obviously adapting to a 3-4, which is going to be interesting to see what Max Crosby adapts to being in a 2-point stance as opposed to put his hand in the dirt. So a little interesting there because Chandler Jones obviously can do that easily, but remains to be seen with Max Crosby. All right, let's round this up. Denver Broncos, Nick Bonito out of the edge rusher out of Oklahoma. Greg Dulcich, interesting because they got rid of Noah Fant in the trade for Russell Wilson, so they get some depth behind Albert O. Other couple picks I like was I'm trying to think here. Not much I like out of those two. I really like Greg Dulcich though. I think that the opportunity there for him can be had in the first year. What else do you guys think? Do you got me to read off some names so you guys remember what they picked, or?
Yeah, who did they pick in the first round?
They have a first round pick. So Nick Bonito was the second pick. I think it was the last pick of the second
Ever
round.
heard of Russell Wilson, Yosef? You ever heard of that trade?
Russell.
There's their first round pick, really, if you want to factor that in. Damari Mathis, Pittsburgh corner. Ioma Owazike out of Iowa State. De'Laren Turner Yell out of Oklahoma. More other players that I'm sure you haven't heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them a C.
Call it a day.
They got Russell Wilson. That's all they really need right now. That was their biggest need. They got a good quarterback. They have an okay defense. They could have helped maybe their offensive line a little bit, but it's Russell Wilson, so he's used to no offensive line. I think he'll do fine.
There you go.
I think they had like average draft at best. It was like a bunch of no names to me. No one special. I'm not a big fan of Russell Wilson. I don't think it was a good trade for them. But yeah, see, I give him.
All right. Well, that is the AFC draft recap. We gave our grades. We gave our thoughts. We gave you what you wanted as far as just knowing what else to look out for this year. We'll have more fantasy actual analysis too coming out of going into draft season. We'll do the Carolina Panthers and the NFC next episode. Stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Boys, what else you guys want to say?
Eat your cake and drink your milk.
Yeah.
They don't have the reference on that.
For you guys don't know, I do have a son. His name is Yosef. He's been eating all my cake. So
that's why I took over your house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fart here.
There
you go.
Oh, get the fuck out of my house.
There you go.
Go kick Yosef
All right,
out.
let's cut it. I'm out of here.
He's farting on the chair. Go
my plate's here. Can you take my plate back?
Oh my god.
Yosef said, can you go clean up after him right now? Don't take that shit for him.
All right, Yosef, cut it, please.